ABC57 News at 10 on CW25.
Paying for protection. Benton Township says the police department responded to more than 4,000 calls to the business district last year. Because of it, business owners may soon have to pay up. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Dorman. Kim Chappell is off tonight. Those business owners say the protection isn't something that they actually need. The showdown is on. ABC 57's Jasmine Norwood is taking a closer look into this issue. And Jasmine, good evening to you. What did you uncover for us?
Good evening, Brian. Well, when we talk about the number of businesses that will be affected by this tax, we're not talking about a small number. I have a list here, 7 pages long, each page front and back. There's over 400 small businesses here on this list that will be hit by this tax.
You know, I'm over 40 years in this industry. This has been my whole working life. My wife and I have invested everything in this.
He's cut his staff down to the bare minimum. Revenues are off, profits are down. Business just isn't booming.
It's been that way for the last 4.5, 5 years. We are coming out of a severe recession, and we're not out of the woods yet.
Now Benton Township is proposing a tax that will affect commercial businesses in the area, but it will hurt hundreds of small business owners the most.
This is a Band-Aid. This is a Band-Aid on a big wound.
The township says the business district requires police force that costs nearly $200,000 a year. So the township wants to tax them. But John Kolaski says it's not often that small businesses call police. It's usually the big box stores.
We've been in business here, my wife and I, 27 years. We've had Benton Township Police Department here one time.
Kolaski says small business owners are easy targets for the township because they do not get to vote. And while it may be legal, he says it's just not right.
I watch every invoice that comes in. I watch every expense very closely. I have to. They don't live in the real world. They don't have to balance their budgets. When they're out of money, they just simply raise taxes.
Benton Township will be having a meeting at the beginning of October. At that meeting, the board is expected to vote and move forward with this tax. Reporting live in Benton Township, Jasmine Norwood, ABC 57 News.
We're following breaking news for you tonight out of Lakeville. Several cars have been involved in a crash on US 31. That crash happened just before 8 o'clock tonight. We're told at least one person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Stay with ABC 57 News as we continue to track the very latest on this story as it develops. Tonight, ABC 57 is tracking your game day forecast. Chief, what can folks expect for the big matchup between the Irish and the Spartans?
Well, Brian, it looks like it's going to be a nice day out there tomorrow. Still going to see some lingering clouds because the front is just now coming through the area. You can see even a couple of sprinkles on ABC 57 first warning Doppler radar. Primarily going to be back out through parts of LaGrange County. Let's get you over there right now. You can see right there along 20 right now heading in towards LaGrange, also heading to the southeast here into Wolcottville at 1023. Rome City at 1025. Just a little bit of leftover rain. Most of the rain is moving its way out, and the winds are going to be switching during the overnight hours. The winds will be coming out of the northwest, and that means we're going to start cooling things off right now. 67 degrees in South Bend, beginning to see things lighten up just a bit. 66 degrees in Benton Harbor, so beginning to drop through the 60s. Tomorrow morning, getting up, isolated shower for the rest of this evening. Tomorrow morning, though, it's going to be colder, down to 54 degrees, so a bit of a cool start to the day, but we should be warming up into the 60s as we head through the afternoon hours. We'll take you hour by hour so you can plan the rest of your big football Saturday coming up in just a few minutes. Brian.
Those of you feeling the effects of yesterday's storms, there are now free sandbags available over at Public Works. The sandbags are only available while supplies last. The Public Works Center is right over there on West Jefferson Boulevard. They ask that you bring your own gloves and your own bags. An Indianapolis police officer who grew up in Napanee was shot and killed last night while on the job. Rod Bradway was shot while trying to break up an argument in an apartment complex. A man was holding his ex-girlfriend hostage inside their apartment. The bullet missed his bulletproof vest. Today, ABC 57 sat down with his middle school coach who shared memories of Officer Bradway.
He was a courageous kid. I always had a special connection with Rod. I never knew quite what it was, but when the first time I saw him come in, I thought he was something special.
Bradway was just 41 years old. He is survived by his wife and 2 kids. And in just this past hour, we learned funeral plans are now in place for Officer Bradway. Visitation is Wednesday at Crown Hill Funeral Home. That's in Indianapolis. It'll run from 2 in the afternoon till 10 o'clock. His funeral will be held Thursday at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. That's downtown Indy. It will be open to the public. The funeral starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, places of worship, they are considered off limits, at least when it comes to violence, but not this week. A masked man rushed into Kingdom Christian Center. That's over on South Bend's northwest side Wednesday, shooting off a gun inside. Now, no one was hurt during that shooting. The pastor tonight has these words to share.
We're going to pray harder. We're going to keep on working, and we're not going to stop until everyone in this neighborhood feels safe and everyone in this neighborhood knows that there is a better way and that God loves them.
The church has planned a special service this Sunday. South Bend's Police Chief Ron Teachman will be there to speak about preventing violence. The South Bend Center for the Homeless is in help here tonight. It is critically low on personal hygiene products. Those living there need supplies to go to job interviews and attend education classes. Right now, the center needs pillows, bath towels, washcloths, blankets, and deodorant. You can drop off donations at the center's front desk. That's on Michigan Street. In about 5 months, the city of South Bend will say goodbye to Mayor Pete Buttigieg as he deploys to Afghanistan. ABC57 met with the new deputy mayor, Mark Neal. Neal has been keeping track of the city's finances and heading up the HR and IT department since January. Neal says that he has the experience and he is ready for the task.
I'm comfortable. I've worked in executive management before. Comfortable that, again, with the vision that's been laid out, the strategies we have in place, that we're going to continue marching on.
Neal says he has no political ambitions. Once the mayor returns, he plans on returning back to the private sector.
Getting fired up while we're on the field, taking care of Sparty. Go Irish!
Purcell Pavilion was rocking tonight for the Notre Dame pep rally. It was moved inside because of the threat of rain. Coach Brian Kelly there and all of his players are on hand, lined up, fired up for the home game tomorrow against Michigan State.
We need every fan on every play. Let's make it a tough environment. Let's hang in there for 4 quarters. We'll come out with a win. We've won 9 in a row at home. We're going for 10. Let's get 10 in a row at home. Go Irish!
Let's go Irish. The game kicks off at 3:30 at Notre Dame Stadium. And tomorrow is the second home game on the season. It's shaping up to be a tough one. The Irish are preparing to face the #1 ranked defense in all the country, Michigan State. 9 of the past 13 matchups between the two have been won by a touchdown or less. Football fans we talked with say tomorrow may just be another nail-biter.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think Notre Dame will win.
I think it's going to be a tough game, and Michigan State always plays the Irish tough, and the Irish, I do think, will win.
Irish fans say they are looking forward to tomorrow's game day atmosphere. We even ran into some fans from as far away as South Dakota. New tonight at 10, more of our exclusive interview with legendary Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz. Tonight, his prediction for the game tomorrow. He remembers just how tense that rivalry was. He says Notre Dame won all 10 matchups while he was coach, but they were all very close and could have easily gone to the Spartans. So does he think tomorrow will be another close one? Here's what he told ABC57's Kim Chappell just hours ago.
I think Notre Dame's going to win. I'm going to pick the score 34-7. I want to tell you why. I think Notre Dame's starting to find their identity. I think Brian Kelly now has great confidence in Tommy Reese. Devarius Daniels has really become a great receiver. Yeah, T.J. Jones, probably the best offensive line we've had here in several years.
He also said that the Friday night before a big game is a coach's job to build confidence, make players laugh, and get their team mentally prepared. Also new tonight, if you ever get nervous about watching a Notre Dame game, wondering can they pull it off there in the fourth quarter win, how do you think the coach's wife, Pocky Kelly, feels? Well, she sat down with ABC57's Kim Chappell tonight about that and the game day chase. It will be running through downtown South Bend tomorrow morning. It is a 5 or 10K race, all to benefit the Kelly Cares Foundation. She'll be up bright and early, but will she be nervous by 3:30 for kickoff?
I'm not one of those nervous coaches in the stands because my response to that is I don't have to catch the ball. You know, I'm not coaching it. I mean, I get into it just like every other fan, but I don't get that pregame jitter. Like I get more nervous at the game or at the race because that's something I'm physically involved in, you know. So that, you know, I have a lot of confidence in our team too and their coaching staff.
And if you want to kick off your game day with Pocky and Kim, you can still join in on the game day chase. That is tomorrow morning. It begins at 7 o'clock, awfully early there outside the South Bend Chocolate Factory. All right, here we go. It is that time of week. Friday night football is here. ABC 57 is covering 20 teams across Michiana for you tonight, plus your marquee matchup. Yes, it's what you voted for on ABC57.com. New Prairie at Jimtown. We'll also have highlights and a few lowlights from Northridge at Warsaw, Adams at St. Joseph, Kalamazoo Central at Niles, Bridgman at Brandywine, just to name a few. You won't want to miss it. It is tonight. ABC 57 News at 11, your full Friday night football coverage. And the South Bend Silverhawks are raking up some team awards here tonight. President Joe Hart has been named the Midwest League 2013 Executive of the Year. The award is voted on by other clubs. The Midwest League, it is given to the person who has a successful season in areas of leadership, attendance, accomplishment, game day events, and much, much more. Since joining the Hawks last year, Hart has doubled the Hawks' attendance. Well, tonight we have a traffic alert that we would like to pass along to you. INDOT is encouraging you to avoid US 31 Tuesday. There will be a couple of 20-minute closures there along the highway. Bridge beams will be set between Johnson and Ireland Road. The work was pushed back this week because of the storms that we saw. Well, St. Joseph High School is celebrating a big anniversary here tonight. 60 years ago today, the school opened its doors. Class of 1954 served cake today and even shared memories with current students. Until 1968, the school had separate divisions for boys and girls. The Hesburgh Library on Notre Dame's campus celebrated 50 years today. The library, boy, has it grown throughout the years. But you may not know this, but it didn't always bear the name Hesburgh. It originally opened in 1963. The name then was Memorial Library. It wasn't named after Notre Dame's president, Father Theodore Hesburgh, until 1987. Just this past week, the library added a new center for digital scholarship. Well, tonight, ABC 57 is tracking your game day forecast.
Oh, yeah, we got a little bit of rain out there still right now, but it should be out here in plenty of time. But we are still tracking some rain showers at this moment from Orland over towards LaGrange, heading in towards Ashley, 1034. It's going to be continuing moving out of the area, so we're going to track a pretty decent weekend shaping up. Very latest after the break.
A key vote on the Hill today to keep the government up and running. What the vote means for the president's health care bill. Plus,
there's a lot of shots, man, like boom, 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 boom.
13 people shot in Chicago, including a 3-year-old child. Whether police have any suspects tonight. End the work week, but things are really improving tonight.
Yeah, definitely had a rainbow out there and everything this evening. Hopefully you got a chance to get out there and see it. It was actually rather pretty. No major problems expected with our weather as we head through the overnight hours. The showers for the most part are moving out. ABC 57 first morning Doppler radar. So if you're heading out for the game tomorrow, maybe a light jacket. We're only going to make it back into the low to mid 60s for afternoon highs at kickoff. 66, 64, halftime down to 62 by the end of the game. So the cool weather's moving back in. It shows up on your ABC 57 first morning 7-day forecast. A little bit of lingering cloud to cover tomorrow, but not bad. Low to mid 60s, low 60s, even with sunshine coming up for Sunday. Temperatures in the low 40s for overnight lows by Sunday and Monday morning. Starting to warm up next week, though. We're talking mid to upper 70s as we get towards Thursday and for Friday. And the following 3 days, that's your first morning with your 10-day forecast. We can start to warm things up again on Saturday. Scattered showers coming up on Saturday. That cold front should drop us back in the low 60s, woo, for highs once again on Sunday and Monday. So temperatures will be cool over the next couple of days, especially at night. Just keep those jackets handy.
As we head into fall, it's going to feel like it.
It will for sure.
All right, Chief, we appreciate it.
Okay.
Well, between newscasts, you always catch up on the very latest news, plus the interactive radar is there for the next time the rain moves through. It's all available at ABC57.com. The latest now on this tragedy out of Chicago. 13 people shot last night, all in that park, including a 3-year-old child. That's the child there on your screen. It happened at that park early this morning. We were the first to break the news for you locally on our ABC 57 Facebook page. Witnesses say that it happened very quickly. The child's family says one of the bullets went into his ear, came out of his cheek. He is in serious condition tonight, but recovering after emergency surgery. Police are looking still for those responsible.
And based on evidence and our initial interviews with witnesses, this appears to be a gang-related shooting.
Has the highest crime rate of the nation's 3 largest cities. The city is trying to make progress. February ended with the fewest homicides the city has seen in nearly 60 years. This morning, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government from running out of money. That will happen by the end of the month unless a decision can be made. The catch? The bill takes all of the money away from the president's health care bill. House Republicans say that it is time for the Senate to do its part, but the bill passed today won't stand a chance, they say in the Senate.
Any bill that defunds Obamacare is dead. It's a waste of time.
A majority of Americans don't approve of the health care law, but many don't agree with shutting down the government to kill it. Also a problem, the debt ceiling. If Congress doesn't raise the government's spending limit, the country could default on its bills. A Fort Wayne police officer crashed his squad car on the way to an emergency call. What investigators say he hit as his vehicle flew off the roadway. Plus this.
You hear your daughter's home, it's just like...
A school bus overturned with students on board. What investigators say that driver did to avoid a more serious crash. Will now face trial. A Detroit district judge ruled that Bob Bashara will be tried on the first-degree murder charge. That is after a preliminary exam which included 30 witnesses and shocking testimony. His wife, Jane, was found strangled to death inside her SUV in 2012. It was parked in an alley just a few miles away from that couple's home. A handyman that worked for the Bashara family pleaded guilty to killing her, but said he did it after he was ordered to at gunpoint. A Fort Wayne police officer was injured during a crash last night while responding to an emergency call. Officer Michael McEachran crashed around 10:15. Crews arrived on scene and found him pinned inside his vehicle. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Early reports say he lost control and then hit a tree. A school bus full of students overturned in Florida, sending at least 8 students and the driver to the hospital earlier today. This is new video coming in. That driver was trying to avoid an oncoming car when the bus then rolled over. Investigators say the bus had to swerve because that car tried to turn in front of it too quickly. No one suffered serious injuries. That's the good news tonight, but parents are still a bit nervous.
You don't hear many things about buses, and you hear your daughter's one, and it's just like, what am I supposed to do, you know? So we just did what we needed to do and got here as soon as possible for her.
Another bus picked up some of those students, giving them a ride home. Other kids were picked up by their parents. The driver of the car was cited for that crash. Hockey fans, the 2015 Winter Classic location has now been chosen, which Lucky City will host next year's icy battle. And when the location may be announced, those details next on ABC 57 News at 10 here on the CW25. Listen up tonight. An online auction site is allowing you to get your hands on props from the show before it ends September 29th. Some of the items pretty cool here too. How about the 1989 Jeep driven by Walter's wife? Yeah, that starts out at a minimum bid of $1,000. There are cheaper things though too. I checked for you. Things going for about $10, including a DEA mug and some duffel bags. Well, calling all hockey fans, the 2015 Winter Classic location has been announced tonight. Washington Capitals will host, according to numerous sources for ESPN. The venue, though, that has not been selected yet. The Capitals will reportedly make that decision come tomorrow. Tonight, a man dressed up as Spider-Man took on a store clerk. What happened next that stopped the bad guy in his tracks? Oh, what tangled webs we weave when we set out to deceive. That story's next.
And right now, things beginning to cool off across the area. Temperatures already backing down right now into the 60s, some 50s on the way. We're going to continue to talk about that big game day forecast coming up.
Pittsburgh convenience store today. 21-year-old was arrested earlier. Pittsburgh police say that the man walked into the store and asked the clerk how much money he had. Then he ran away when that clerk pulled out a fake gun, scaring him off. Quick thinking there. How about this? The latest on this breaking news story. This is the crash out of Lakeville we showed you at the top of our broadcast. It has since been clear. This is new video coming in of this 3-car crash on US 31. It happened just before 8 o'clock. At least one person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
Luckily minor. That's a good thing. A lot of people are coming into town for the big game coming up for tomorrow. It looks like it should be just fine. We're still going to have a couple lingering clouds. Definitely not going to be in the 80s. That's for sure. We're talking about highs only in the low to mid 60s tomorrow. A few lingering clouds from time to time. If we have any sprinkles will be very early in the morning coming in off the lake, but otherwise looks pretty good. Sunday, lots of sunshine, but even with the sunshine, 62 degrees for the start of fall. Fall officially begins at 4:44 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's going to feel like it.
Well, it's going to feel like football weather tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, that is our time here tonight at 10. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Dorman.
And I'm Jamie Martin.
We'll see you at 11 for Friday Night Football.